Hello, everybody. I think I'm going live. I don't know. I will give everybody a couple minutes to get in. But I thought that this would be just something fun to do, just so people could interact a little bit. I am not a big fan of video conferencing, so I don't enjoy that at all. But I would like to interact with people, and I have not been out and about for a full week now. So I thought some people like my pumpkin bars. I got the idea when watching my friend Becky read children's books. And since my children aren't such children anymore, I thought I would do something different. And I know people like my pumpkin bars. I see Brandy's on. I would love if Brandy would maybe, I don't know, show us some soap making skills one time. Maybe Doris can perhaps do some painting for us sometime. Even though I can't hear you talking to me, you at least get a chance to see my face and know that I'm still here and hear my voice. So I would love to see all of you who are signing in come on live yourselves and show us a little bit of something. So pumpkin bars it is. My pumpkin bar recipe is actually not my own. It comes from this little book, which I'm sure is probably in quite a few households. I think it was my mom's, but I'm not sure. Maybe my mom knows. But as you can see, it's been well used and is falling apart. But this is where I get my pumpkin bar recipe. I have since taken the recipe and done a little bit different to it. But here it is. If you can read that. You know, maybe you want to freeze that page or whatever so that you have the full recipe, just in case you miss something while I go along. But I do my own thing with it. So first, I have all my stuff out here. You can see I've got my flour and my sugar. I've got over here all of the other necessities. So I'm just going to take you through. I do not like to dirty a whole bunch of stuff, so I end up with using a half a cup and a teaspoon only and putting everything in one bowl because I don't feel like putting stuff in two bowls. So that being said, we start out with flour. Just need 2 cups of flour. So I go ahead and measure. If you got your stuff to make this along with me, please feel free. If I move a little fast, I'm sorry, but you'll get the idea. And I'll try and show the recipe again maybe at the end. Let's see who's here. A couple of you, that's nice. Hi, Brandy. All right, I think that was 2, 4 half cups. That calls for 1.5 cups of sugar. So again, I use my half cup, and I'm gonna put my 1.5 cups in. This comes in handy. It pretty much fits an entire 10-pound package of sugar. So I buy my sugar and fill it up whenever I get it. So there's my sugar. Then I have a couple other dry goods to go in here. Let's see. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. My brother suggested that I try it once beforehand, and I thought about doing that, but number one, I do not need that many pumpkin bars in my life because I just don't. And number two, I wanted this to be where you just got to see me in person and it wasn't like scripted or something like that. However, I was up at some ungodly hour in the morning thinking about all the things that I wanted to share. I can't remember what I thought of. Maybe I'll think of it as we do this. I am using 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. 1, 2, and a teaspoon of baking soda. Losing my page. And I also, there we go. Now with the baking soda, sometimes it's hard to get your spoon in there. There we go. And a teaspoon of baking soda. Then along with that, we're also putting in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. This is where I don't feel like using a quarter teaspoon, so I know that's probably about a quarter teaspoon. Put that in. And with the cloves, I actually ground my own cloves. That way they're fresh, that way they keep longer. So I did pre-ground some cloves. I just put them in this mortar and pestle. I like to do this with a number of different spices and whatnot. And you just want to keep on going in there until it's ground up enough. And again, I probably use more than a quarter teaspoon, and that's okay. But I get that in there. Those are all of my dry ingredients. So what you want to do is you want to mix that up just a little bit. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's just like a little hint of cinnamon and the cloves in there. I like to mix that up because what I'm going to do is I'm going to create kind of a well in the middle so that I can then put my wet ingredients right in there with it. So there's my well. And what I need in there is I need 4 beaten eggs, pumpkin, and oil. In order to beat the eggs, you need liquid in there first. So I usually put in the oil and I put in my pumpkin, which I'll talk to you about in a minute as well. So here's my half cup because I don't feel like dirtying another cup. Let me go ahead and get that in there. And then my pumpkin, and probably what people know about me who like my pumpkin bars, is I make my pumpkin from scratch. You don't have to. By all means, use canned pumpkin. But I go camping every year at a place in Pennsylvania. We like to go there. They have a fall festival, usually in October. So when they do the fall festival, they have pumpkins that you can pick, and they do pumpkin decorating contests. The adults can carve the pumpkins if they want to, but then they have like paint and all of these different things that kids can go and paint their pumpkins. And then they line them up and they pick the best ones and they give out rewards and all that stuff. But they have tons and tons of pumpkins left over. So I take a pumpkin and then I take that pumpkin home and I steam it, and then I separate it, blend it all up so it's a nice puree, and then I bag it up and I freeze it. And I bag it up in 16-ounce bags, and they are specifically used for my pumpkin bars, probably more than anything. The other thing I use it for is making my irresistible double chocolate muffins. So maybe sometime I can make irresistible double chocolate muffins if you'd like. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. But here's my 16 ounces of pumpkin, and I'm just going to cut the corner off and then pour it in. So I have my liquids in the middle here. I just need to scrape that out. And then I'm going to get my eggs. Now my eggs this particular week happen to be from my friend Shelly. She gave me eggs for the first time this week. When she's not giving me eggs, I get some eggs from my friend Debbie Logan, or I end up buying them, which I do from time to time because I don't want to count on them giving me eggs. But whenever they do give me eggs, I'm thrilled. So I have some lovely brown eggs. Look at all those beautiful eggs. So we need 4 of those. Put this over. And I just pop them right in the center of my liquid in here. So 1, 2, and a couple more. Does anybody have any? I was looking to see if anybody had any questions or anything. Feel free to ask if you do have some, and I'll try and answer them. 4 eggs. Let me wash my hands. if this is a full 20 seconds, but close enough for now. I'm in my own home. So we've got everything in here. Then it's just a matter of mixing. So first I get in the middle and beat my eggs. And then stir everything else up. It takes a couple of minutes to do. After we do this, I'm going to pour it into a pan, and my oven is going to be heated up to 350 degrees. The oven I like to use is a stone, actually one of those big stones. You don't have to put it in a stone. You can put it in your cookie sheet or whatever. I just find that when I use the stone, it just bakes nicer. I'm pretty sure I remembered all the ingredients. There was one time where I forgot an ingredient. I think it was baking soda. I can't remember for sure. And so my pumpkin bars were a little on the flat side. I freaked out a little bit. I contacted friends that I know bake, such as I think I contacted Becky and Cynthia Copes, and they reassured me that my pumpkin bars would be okay. It's just they would be flat. So we did survive, thank goodness. These are definitely not a healthy treat with all the oil that you put in. However, you could make them healthy. I don't know if they taste quite the same. I have opted for the non-healthy version. I figure when I make my irresistible double chocolate muffins, that's my health factor. So I have it pretty much all smooth. Let's see if we can show you this. All right, all smooth there. And then I just bring my pan out, stir it one more time. Every once in a while, little flour chunks get in there, and there's bound to be a couple little flour chunks, but that's okay. And I pour it out. Okay. All that ooey gooey deliciousness. Not so much delicious now, but once it bakes, it's good. All right, scrape that off. Stir that in just a little bit. All right, so there's my pan. I just like to tilt it a little bit just to get everything in the corners, kind of. I'm going to let that set for a moment while my oven is continuing to heat up. And then one other piece that you might want to check out is then making the cream cheese filling. So with the cream cheese filling, all you need is 3 ounces of cream cheese, a 1/4 cup of butter, and vanilla and powdered sugar. So I already measured those out. I wanted to leave it out so that they could kind of warm up a little bit. So right now I've got the little chunks. Real quick, I'm just going to mix it. Okay, you just want to mix it until it's kind of getting fluffy and combined and whatnot. And then I put in my teaspoon of vanilla, which I don't need a measuring cup for that, or measuring spoon for that. However much vanilla you want to do is good. Right now I'm using store-bought vanilla, which is what I usually use. However, this year I just started making my own batch of homemade vanilla. In fact, hold on one second. Here's my homemade batch of vanilla. It is steeping, and I'm hoping that it is going to end up turning out delicious. We'll find out in a few weeks, probably. So there's that. I really enjoy trying to make my stuff from as scratch as I can. Obviously I can't make all of it. I'm not making my own butter anytime soon. Although I think I might try. We'll see. But then powdered sugar, I also like to just make myself because all you need is cane sugar, and you stick it in. If you have a Vitamix, you can definitely stick it in Vitamix. If you don't have a Vitamix, I don't know how well other things would work, but you can certainly try. So this recipe is going to call for about 2.5 cups of powdered sugar, but you can eyeball that. So this is about a little over 1/2 cup or so. So I start out with that, and this is some powdered sugar that I had made the last time I made pumpkin bars. So it does get kind of crumbly and crunchy, but when you mix it in, it spreads out a little bit. So there's my powdered sugar. And you just want to mix that up until it combines. And you'll start seeing a difference. Okay, so now it's starting to look a little more combined. So here's some more powdered sugar. Sorry. Thankfully, I made more than enough. You don't want to add this all in at once or it will go everywhere. So you just add in a little bit at a time and mix it. And keep doing so until you get to the consistency that you want. So I'll show you this in a moment. And you'll see how the consistency starts to change. Even though you're adding the dry powdered sugar, it actually thins out your icing and it becomes a little more smooth. So there's my icing now. I found that I actually like to do this even when making birthday cakes. Sometimes I just make this icing instead. I've colored it, put food coloring in it, you know, or whatever, especially if I don't have time to get out to the store and buy the other stuff. So basically I'm going to make that. One other thing I'm adding to it, I'm slowly but surely using up this spice. My mother bought it for me probably quite a while ago. But I found I like to put it in this icing here, so I'm going to put just a little bit of this in there at one point in time. And then after my pumpkin bars bake, we'll let them cool, and I'll put some icing on it, and I will enjoy eating it. And I will probably take a few over to my neighbors, Kathy and Sid. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. I hope some of you make some. And I would love to see you guys go live. So see you later. Thanks for joining me. Have a great rest of the day. Stay safe, stay well. Don't go out if you don't need to. Thanks. Bye.